Boom! As we do in the biz. Audio, video, recording. What's going on YouTube Live? I am back again, same day, couple hours later. I am still trying to finish this mission that I started, which was I'm gonna file for unemployment insurance today. As I said before, listen, I'm a struggling actor, as is 90% of our industry. Not necessarily struggling actors, but just below the line, 90% of our industry is working week to week, month to month. We don't really even know if we're going to be in this business a year from now. So it's just a dream we live every day. And a lot of us are struggling now for ends meet because when production ends, you know, most people are hoping that those key coordinators in the productions are going to pick up the phone and just call the same people that were already on the staff sheet. But there's a chance that life happens, and then you're just not available when the phone rings, and then you have to say no. And everybody knows in the entertainment business, when you start saying no, you start, you kind of start losing the repetition of work, you know, and so that's the best way I can explain that. So, or the reliability of work, really. So, this is a troubling time for a lot of people in the entertainment industry. Lots of people, you know, tens of thousands of people in the entertainment industry are certainly nervous about what's going to happen after this is over. And just while I'm here, real quick. The shutting down of the theaters, the shutting down of production, the removing of studio audiences, the distancing of hosts on TV shows, that is seriously going to disrupt the entertainment business too. I'll talk a little bit more about that on some other occasion. If you really even want me to, comment below. Which, by the way, before I even get started, again, if you guys like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and keep tabs with what's going on in Hollywood with me, and what this whole future of this world holds for us. So here I am, part 2, trying to get unemployment insurance, and I was not going to bore you guys with this mundane work, but I was driven to a point where it just was clear to me that I have to just print out the application for unemployment and mail it in. And I was hoping that application, when I first opened the file on my computer, was a couple pages long. And no, it's not a couple pages long. As a matter of fact, one question is a couple pages long, just so you know. Question 41 is 2 pages long. There's 41D, there's 41A. That's 2 pages for one question. So just so you know. And I was gonna fill it out without you guys here, and as I'm filling it out, I just decided that this is just way funnier, what I'm reading here, than if I were to just fill it out and then just tell you guys, okay, so I filled it out, and now let's go walk to the mail together and put my unemployment inside the mailbox. No, I was filling this application out, and I was so just floored at the level of elementary problem solving that this application was putting together. Just the first 4 questions just had me in a loop as to why they would even just kind of circle around this question. So the very first question, so you're applying for unemployment insurance, which means you worked and then you lost your job, and technically while you were working, your employer was supposed to be contributing into the unemployment insurance fund, right? The first question is, and I hate the way they phrase it, okay? Did you, so the first time I read this, I thought it said, did you work in the state of California during the last 18 months? I thought it said, did you work in the state of California in the last 18 months? But what it actually says is, did you work in a state other than California during the last 18 months? This reminds me of questions that I took in high school that were like designed to be AP and placement questions, like, this frog is everything but one thing. What is the one thing it is not? And you're just like, I just have to read the question 2 more times to make sure I understand what they want to know. So they want to know, did you work in a state other than California? And a lot of people in the entertainment business do work in the state do work out of the state of California. Why would they ask you that question? Because they want to make sure your employer was paying into the unemployment insurance fund. They want to make sure the guy that they have to call to figure out who to pay for this guy's unemployment is in California. That's step one. I'm not saying they're going to deny you benefits, but like, let's be real. This whole 15-page form is designed to deny me benefits. Okay, let's just be blunt about that. All right, so no, I did not work in any other state. So anyways, I'm going through this. I was so overwhelmed with how stupid the form was, I decided that we should just all do this together, and you guys can hear me react to this form. I mean, maybe it means I get denied. Maybe the state's like, you're not a nice person for showing everybody what that form is like, and you put a bunch of private information on the internet. You know what? Like, information is not private, is it? It's like if especially when it's concerning our government, right? Like, that should all just be public information. Everybody should be allowed to know what it takes to work with our local governments. So here we go. I hope this doesn't take too long. I hope I don't lose the feed. I'm still figuring out all the technology here. But if I do, I apologize, pre-apologize. And if I don't, again, hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to read here. So the next question was a social security number, which to me should have been question 1. And then name, but it's not. No, it's the second question. And then the third question is, and I don't know how this applies to like a citizen of America who like goes and gets a job, because every time you go to get a job when you're a citizen of America, you have to write your social security number down somewhere on paperwork once you're hired, right? If not, while you're applying. So the second question, after asking me if I worked anywhere else but California, the second question is, all right, what's your social security number? And then the third question is, now list any other social security numbers you use. I don't even know what that means. I didn't know I could have other social security numbers that I could use. If I knew I could have other social security numbers that I can use, I would probably be doing a lot of different types of work all at the same time, to be frank. So this question right here is news to me. I'm floored. Question 3, I feel like I'm confused. I need help. Should I have another social security? Will that help me with benefits? To me, it just seems like a trap. Like, it's trying to get people who use multiple numbers, and then they're like, okay, now that we found out that you didn't work in California, we also know that you go under multiple identities. And so, yes, your benefits are definitely denied. Now let's talk about why you're not going to go to jail for having multiple social security numbers and you work in and out of the state of California. I mean, does that sound like mafia or what? Okay, so that was question 2A, but it's like the third question, right? So the third question, the third thing they want to know is, what's your name? So like, it's like, right? Like, if question 1 is answered, yes, I worked out of the state of California, they're like, psh, don't even care who you are. Like, you don't get benefits here. You better figure out what state you worked in and call them. So now the third one is, okay, I worked in California. Here's my social security number. I'm really a part of the federal government. No, I don't have other social security numbers. I don't know why I would. And then here's my name. Got it. And then the next question. And by the way, I stopped after this one because I just thought, this is so stupid. Okay, so the next question is, this is a yes-no question, by the way. Okay, so again, they asked my name, finally. Is this the name that appears on your social security card? What kind of trick, what kind of weird trick is this that they're trying to get me to, like, answer? It feels like they're trying to entrap me into admitting into a lie, like I'm maintaining multiple identities or some shit. So that's confusing. I'm confused. After question 4, I'm overwhelmed. Really. And then I was like, fine, I'll just do it with you guys, because I'm sure I'm going to just keep on looking at this stuff and think. And I already looked ahead, and one of the questions kind of was ridiculous. Because, by the way, so here we go. Question 5. So, list any other names you may have used. it's like I could apply for like three, because there's 3 sections here where you can put a social security number, like 3 different sets of blocks. So it's like I can use 3 different sets of social security numbers, and then it seems like I can use 2 other, or like a total of 3 names. Like I can get unemployment insurance for 3 versions of myself or something, which makes no sense. That is a real field on our government document that they're gonna print and make us print hundreds of thousands of copies of. That is a waste of a question. Like, why would I be using any other names outside of my legal working name, which you've asked me for? I mean, unless I'm like an actor or entertainer who their business is getting income through that name, but then that would be a business requesting help, not like an individual citizen going to unemployment office for money. It just... Okay, so none. I'm going to write not applicable. Sorry. What is your birth date? Okay, if you know it, great. If not, we don't have to tell anybody. Everyone knows I'm 40. What is your gender? Male. Okay, now, this is what I looked ahead at. Now, would you prefer your written material in English or Spanish? Now, this really kind of frustrated me too, because this is really why I got online, is because when you go online, which by the way I forgot to mention, just getting this form did not happen in a matter of like a minute. And by the way, I found this form with the help of Google and not even the unemployment website. It would not get me to this form through the unemployment website. I had to go through Google, which basically just took me directly to a hyperlink that took me to this form. And that hyperlink actually I've saved, and I'm going to put into my social media later so that you guys can find it. So when you get to that hyperlink, it gives you the option to download your application. Now it gives you that option in like 11 different languages. Okay? So you have to go out of your way to print out the document in English, right? You have to do that, right? So this question, would you prefer your written material in English or Spanish? It's just another wasted question. I'm sending my application in English. I went out of my way to make sure my application was in English. Why would you give me the option to receive this information back in another language besides, unless like I'm filling this out for my grandmother who doesn't speak any English, but then even when it shows up in Spanish, she's not going to understand what the hell they're asking her to do and all of the extra forms they want her to fill out, because somebody helped her do it in the first place, right? Which is why you're asking for it in an alternative language than the one that you filled it out in. So it just again, I mean, I just feel like it's just a wasted question. I would prefer it in English, since I did request to be processed in English. And then it asks me again, what is your preferred spoken language? English. Which would then, I mean, why I even have to write it? I just wasted a good second of my life. I don't get that second back. Have you filed a California unemployment insurance or disability insurance claim in the last 2 years? No. If yes, list each type of claim. I did not hit yes. Alright, that's 1 down. First form down. I mean, it only took me however long that took me with a good little extra narrative. Oh, now they want me to write my social security number at the top of every page. Now it's relevant. Now it's relevant. Now that we're past that, we want you to spend an extra second writing your social on the top of every page of this application, so that in case we end up only losing 1 page of this, at least criminals can still find your social security number easily at the top of every single page that we ask you to turn in. Genius. Do you have a driver's license issued to you by the state? Yes. If yes, provide the name of the issuing state and your driver's license number. So the state is California. And I will write my driver's license number a little later. can't forget to do that, or else they're going to deny my application. Let's see here. What is your telephone number? All right. I mean, this is question 11. I don't know. I just feel like it should be question 2, but that's just me. It's like, here's a guy walking into the government building. He wants to, get some free money to help him get through the week or the month. Let's get his name and his phone number, get his email address, get his address. Let's get the address of his work. Those are things, like, super relevant things that you need to, like, immediately get when you're going to start giving somebody some money. Not like, where else did you work? Where else besides California did you work? How many social security numbers do you have? What is your mailing address? I mean, finally, like, question 12 feels like we're getting to where this is some important information. Okay, cool. This is the information I want to be volunteering to the EDD so that I can apply and try to qualify for benefits, because it's just, as the president keeps saying, this is like through no fault of my own. I was slated to have a very comfortable income, take care of myself and my home. Is your residence address the same as your mailing address? Yes. If you do not live in California, what is the name of the county? If you do not live in California, what is the name of the county in which you live? Well, I live in California. I'm going to say not applicable. The question doesn't even make sense because they're asking if I don't live in the state. And if I didn't live in the state, they only want to know what county I do live in. What county? They don't care what state that county is in, I guess. I don't know. What race or ethnic group do you identify with? Check one of the following. I can't wait to see what this looks like nowadays with so much cultural mixing that's happened. So I'm mixed. Is mixed even an option? Oh, I love this. I choose not to answer. I'm American. Yeah, like, this is there is no mixed. They still don't have mixed. Why don't they have mixed? Which race or ethnic group do you identify with? Check one of the following. I've actually hated this question since I was a little kid. Since I had to fill out forms for school, for aptitude tests, I've really hated this question. Just I've never identified with anyone. Like, well, I know I'm Puerto Rican and I'm Irish. That's what my family told me. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm Irish. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm Irish. I guess Irish people are white, but I'm Puerto Rican, so where's that at? Hispanic, okay, I guess. But then, like, I can only pick one? So, like, what? And you know what I used to do growing up? Hispanic. You want to ask me why? I'll tell you. You get more benefits. You get the white people, and they're like, I don't need help. Do you have a disability? Nope. I should just say yes. Walk in with a limp, but I'm not dishonest. I guess that is my disability, is that I'm not dishonest. Maybe I should put yes then. I'm not dishonest. What is the highest grade of school you have completed? I got a Bachelor of Arts or Sciences. I bet that works against me, right? Like, you're a little too smart for this. Are you a military vet? No. That probably also works against me, right? Whoa, I got through a whole page. I literally only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 more pages. So it's 13 pages long. This application is 13 pages long. Oh, let me write my social security number at the top so that in case any one of these pages gets lost, someone can steal my identity and get all my benefits. Provide your employment and wages information for the last 18 months. If you work for a temp agency, a labor contractor, an agent for actors or actresses, or an employer where wages are reported under a corporate name, your wages may have been reported under that employer name. You may want to refer to your check stubs or W-2s to obtain the name of your employer. Question 19 is repeated 5 times, six times. So basically, assuming you've worked So you're like a PA, you worked for like 3 movies, it could be for 3 different production companies, it could be for 3 different studios, 3 different payment providers, so, payroll companies, so that's that for that. I didn't have that. And I don't really have an employer. So this is why it's getting confusing, because they don't have a this literally is the problem that everyone is facing, okay? Name and managers, employers you work for, period of employment, total wages, each employer. Okay, so this is literally the problem that people are having with unemployment insurance. In other words, they have not updated the form. There's nothing here special for the fact that this is... Millions of people are filing for unemployment because they couldn't go to work because the government said, stop going to work, that we're safer at home. And so then they said, we're going to disband, we're going to put into the economy 2-point-something trillion dollars, I think it's 2.1, maybe 2.2 trillion dollars into the economy through direct checks, through business loans, through private and public agreements. We're gonna own a little bit of this and we're gonna own a little bit of that, and we're just gonna get the money back. We're just gonna loan it, and you're gonna pay it back, and it's just gonna be easy breezy lemon squeezy. Okay, but look, like Gavin Newsom, our governor of California, is telling us that we're gonna suspend evictions, or we're gonna suspend parking enforcement, and we're gonna let you guys stay home. We're gonna try to suspend, closures of utilities and all these kinds of things, and we're gonna help you with unemployment. Okay, but they don't do anything to the form, because if you have a W-2 job, this is gonna be an easy part for you to fill out, and technically, it's the easy part for me to fill out because I actually have nothing to write here. So then, when I send this to somebody, they're going to be like, okay, he didn't work for any kind of companies last year. Who did he work for? And so hopefully the next page has something about self-employment, but if it doesn't, which I suspect it does not, because I've tried this before, and this program is not designed for people who own their own businesses or manage their own revenue streams. Like if you're an Instagrammer or a YouTuber, and unless you set up your payments to be conducted through a third party that documents everything and takes out money to pay taxes and things like that, if you're just receiving all direct payments to your accounts with no adjustment for taxes, you're not someone who had an employer. Okay? You're someone who is self-employed. And being self-employed, unless you registered your business with the state and you started paying into unemployment insurance, typically you're not considered as someone who qualifies for that program. What they'll try to do for you is figure out how to get you more work through job placement, maybe food stamps, but they don't start issuing you a check for unemployment insurance unless of course, for example, right, like I only had one employer. It's not really even an employer, it's 1099. But if I was 1099 on a movie, I would be able to include like the payroll's company's information vis-a-vis the company that was processing money through the payroll. So like Warner Brothers would be my employer if I was doing PA work, even if I was doing background. If I was a stand-in on a movie for 30 days, if I was a stand-in on a movie for 7 days, that could be a check, an employer, right? And then I was a stand-in on a different movie, that's another check, another employer, right? That's W-2 work, right? But when you are, say, like the coffee lady who isn't there every day, but on occasion you guys go to set, and then there's that little coffee truck outside that someone in production paid for to be there. Like, production just gives that coffee truck a check. That check just goes into the little coffee truck's, account, and the government really doesn't hear or know about it. It's just considered like discretionary spending by the studio, right? Big category, all tax deductible, right? that little coffee truck doesn't get to say that they were being employed by so and so. They might get like a check that says cash, and it's literally like from the production company that's hired by Warner Brothers, and no taxes are taken out of it. So you telling the government about it just hurts you. So that's the kind of information people won't want to put there. So it's a catch-22, or I don't know if it's a catch-22. It feels just more like a trap to figure out how much money you're bringing in, where it's coming from. I didn't have any employers last year. I work in hospitality through an online platform. So let's see what we have for that. Write my social security at the top. Alright. Again, question 19, not applicable. Question 20, during the past 18 months, did you work for any other employers not listed in question 19? So I would say yes. If the EDD finds that you do not have sufficient wages in the standard base period to establish a valid claim, do you want to attempt to establish a claim using the alternate base period? For additional information about the standard base period and the alternate base period, visit EDD website. So I don't even know. I have to go look that one up later because I don't even know the difference. During the past 18 months, which employer did you work for the longest? A separate sheet of paper. Attach the additional sheet of paper to this application. Interesting. I forgot to read this little part. If I answered yes to having a different employer other than the ones mentioned in 19, then I need to attach that on another sheet of paper. So I'll just get this sheet of paper here. List, attach the additional sheet of paper to the list the employer information. Okay. I'll just write this down for later. I guess they're going to want to know Airbnb's federal tax ID number. If EDD finds that you don't have sufficient wages, okay. During the past 18 months, which employer did you work for the longest? Airbnb. Type of business, hospitality. Short-term rental, as the government likes to call it now. Short-term rentals taking over the housing market. Years 7. So what is your usual occupation? Actor. Is your usual work seasonal? No. Not necessarily. It's just whenever someone wants to hire me to do what I do. Write my social down again. Didn't care about it in the beginning. Alright. Please provide information about your very last employer. This is the employer you last worked for, regardless of the length of time you worked at that job, the type of work you did for that employer, or whether or not you have been paid. If you worked for a temp agency, a labor contractor, an agent for actors or actresses, or an employer where wages are reported under a corporate name, your wages have been reported under the employer name. If you worked for in-home supportive services, the welfare recipient for whom you provided the in-home supportive service is your employer, not the county. You may want to refer to your check stubs. To file a claim, individuals must be out of work or working less than full time. You must provide information about the last employer you worked for as an employee. Do not include self-employment unless you have elective coverage. Interesting. So, self-employment unless you have elective coverage. So they just said it right there. So you must provide information about the last employer you worked for as an employee. Do not include self-employment unless you have elective coverage. Now you ask Airbnb, what are the hosts? And they'll answer you 1,000 times over that they are independent contractors who are self-employed. What is the last date you actually worked for your very last employer? I already know filling out this information in a way where I present the information. In other words, I use all of my Airbnb information as the reference points for my employment history. In other words, my last date of employment would have been my last reservation right before the cancellation started, which was, I think, on March the 6th or something like that. It might have been March the 11th. March the 11th might have been my last day of tenancy. Even so, the pessimist in me is like, yeah, I started explaining that to whoever calls me about this, because that's what's going to happen here. It's going to get postmarked, but so what? Like, the people who process the information, they'll explain to me that I will be sent a check, that I will, like, be, back paid up to the day that I turned in the information. Like, now it might be just relayed all over the internet that, like, here's this guy, he's just an actor who hustles his butt off to make money. I don't even, like, get checks. I barely earn money in checks. I just have a lot of different revenue streams. Like I said, being an actor, sometimes it's just literally just paid in a check. No taxes taken out. And then what happens? I get a $150 check and I go and I spend $130 on cards and headshots and postcards and networking and blah, 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 blah. So I made $20, I still got to pay rent, utilities. And it's very, very hard. It's a lot harder than anybody would ever really think being an actor is, choosing to be an actor is. And what happened? I evolved into being an Airbnb host. And now, like, look, every actor has a side hustle. Tens of thousands of actors are out of work right now for two reasons. Because production is shut down, and the restaurants that they all work at have been closed by the city of LA. I mean, they're losing money on two ends. And the landlords, everybody knows in LA the landlords don't care. They have, this is a unique circumstance. This was a unique circumstance. I'm not going to repeat it too much more, but we definitely will see what will happen in the next 10 days. But I'm not even going to do it in terms of, like, saying that they were my last employer. I'm just going to write self-employed and save everybody the hassle. I had to sign a petition that Airbnb generated to convince our state senator to include Airbnb hosts as a part of either the business stimulation that they're going to give to the hotel industry, where basically Airbnb would probably get a nice big chunk of money and then they would maybe give it to the hosts. Like, maybe we could file a claim for all of the cancellations we had. Or on the other end, they literally just send all the Airbnb hosts, like, another check or, like, some kind of categorical unemployment check, some kind of benefit, even though they don't work within a system that pays into unemployment. Hopefully the government, since they're pumping in $2.2 trillion, they can throw some money towards the Airbnb hosts, because, like I said, I'm just self-employed. Are you directly or indirectly out of work with any employer? Are you out of work with any employer due to a trade dispute, such as a strike or a lockout? I mean, where's the question about, are you out of work because of coronavirus? Right? So no, I'm not out of work because of that. If yes and a union was involved, answer questions A or B. Okay, the answer was no, so I'm going to skip ahead, thank God. Throw my social at the top again, because, I'm probably going to end up mailing all of these individual forms individually with 11 different postmarks, right? Are you currently working for, or do you expect to work for any school or educational institution or a public or non-profit employer performing school-related work? No. What a very long-winded question. Do you expect to return to work for any former employer? No. Do you have a date to start work with? Okay. Finally, we reached another stupid question. Why would anybody? I just don't understand. Like, and maybe this is just how, like, this doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, the system doesn't even work that fast. It's not like you walk in filling out a claim for benefits on Monday and you start getting paid on Tuesday. So here's this question. Do you have a date to start work with any employer? If yes, answer question A. What date will you start work? Who has a start date for work and is filling out an unemployment benefits claim? Who does that? Don't do that, people. Don't do that. No, I do not have a start date. Are you a member of a union or non-union trade association? Trade association. No. I'm a member of a union that didn't even send me my screeners last year, even though I paid my dues on time. SAG-AFTRA. Should just call you SABTRA. Are you a member? No, not a member of a trade union. I bet if I was a member of a trade union, I'd probably get extra benefits because there's been a trade war, terrible trade war. But China's ready to deal. China's at the table. China wants what we have. China wants what we've got. They want it. Are you currently attending, or do you plan on attending school or training? No, I'm not 18. Sorry. I'm a pathetic 40-year-old dude who's out of work because, like, I don't know, the world stopped. Are you available for immediate full-time work in your usual occupation? Hell yeah! If you guys are hiring actors out the bar, boy, I will come and star whatever you want. We'll do PSAs and government podcasts about where to find masks, surgical masks, right? Yes. If you're hiring actors, .gov, I am submitting my headshot, and you can check out my reel at www.kristiansteele.com. Actually, that's not true. I don't have enough money to afford my website anymore. It's a sad story. Are you available for immediate part-time work in your... Yes, I will do 4-hour days, PA work, background, whatever, man. You know, I'll just bring donuts to, like, the mayor so he doesn't have to, like, leave his office or something. Are you currently self-employed, or do you plan to become self-employed? Yes. Question 34. Here we go. And I can remember. I know where this is about to go. Are you now, or have you been in the last 18 months, an officer of a corporation or union, or the sole or major stockholder of a corporation? No. Did you serve as an elected public official? No. Social. Because I'm going to send all these individually. Are you currently receiving a pension? No. Will you receive any additional pensions in the next 12 months? No. Are you receiving, or do you expect to receive, workers' compensation? No. Have you received, or do you expect to receive any payments from your last employer other than your regular salary? I want the knife. Have you received, or do you expect to receive, any payments from your last employer other than your regular? No. Type of payment. I don't expect money. I don't expect, this is so crazy. It's like they're asking me like 5 different ways. Do you think there's going to be some money coming in? Like in the next like couple weeks? Like, are you going to be working? Do you have a job coming? Or do you think that maybe like your other employer like might be sending you some money? Like, if you have any money, let us know. Whatever money you have coming in, please, before we decide to give you money. We definitely want to know every last little penny that you've got coming in, or at least think you got coming in. And if you're lying to us, well, we're just going to suspend all your benefits. Jesus. Oh, calm down. Are you, finally, question 41. Are you a U.S. citizen? Question 41. Question 41 on page 8 of 11. Are you a U.S. citizen? Did you make money out of state, in state? Where are you getting paid? Where's your money? Where's your money? Where's your money? Where's your money? Okay, are you a citizen? Okay, social. It's horrible. It's horrible. Okay, if you answered yes to question A above, you must select one of the USCIS documents listed in 41A through 41H below and provide the applicable document information. Permanent resident card. 41A, permanent resident card. The alien registration must be set. What do you mean permanent resident card? I don't have any of those. I have a fucking driver's license that I wrote. What the fuck? Other document. Alien registration. Rival name. I don't even understand this question. Hold on a second. If you answered, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. If you answered yes to question A above, look how confusing this is, right? This is what we have to do. If you had answered yes to question A above, you must select one of the USCIS documents listed in 41A through 41H below and provide the applicable document information. Okay. I got a little confused. Got you. Driver's license. Card number is on the back of the card next to your photo and on the date of birth. Expiration date. Okay. I think that's it. Permanent resident card. It's either you either have an alien registration number or you have a permanent resident card number. This feels redundant. Like, why make me write down my driver's license again? But that's what it seems to be asking me to do. I don't even know. I could be doing it wrong, in which case some guys or girls are going to call me and say, yeah, we got your form in here. It's now May 17th. Sorry, I've been really backlogged. Did you know that 1.5 million people applied for unemployment in 1 week? You think? And it was all paper. Everybody sent us paper forms. And you know, it's so silly because we've got this website up and nobody even used it. I wonder why. I wonder why no one used it. I'm doing this. I'm almost done. By the grace of, the Lord above, I'm getting almost done. I wrote my social security number down at least 11 times. So, I wonder how identity theft happens. It's like, people ask themselves, how does identity theft happen? Why is everybody writing their social security number down? Who would do such a thing? Why would anybody write their social security number down on a bunch of pieces of paper? Here it is right here. These are all going to go into the mail. Someone in the mail steals this shit for a second or whatever. Like, it's messed up. Supplemental form for disaster unemployment assistance attached. And D, please complete the following if you are unemployed or partially unemployed due to a disaster, as you may be eligible for DUA benefits. So I'm going to just say yeah, and then see what happens, see what the state says, because at the end of the day, coronavirus is definitely a disaster. Are you unemployed as a direct result of a recent disaster in California, such as an earthquake, flood, mudslide, wildfire, etc., etc., etc.? Yes, and I will happily circle etc. If yes, identify the type of disaster. At the time of the disaster, in which county did you reside? At the time of the disaster, in which county did you work? At the time of the disaster, was your unemployment caused by your need to travel through a disaster area? Identify the disaster. Where did you work? Los Angeles County. At the time of the disaster, was your unemployment caused by your need to travel? No. If yes, identify the disaster county. Part E, check the following that best applies to you. I, an employee who's an employee. I am. Okay, that's hilarious to me. This would have made so much more sense if every single option said am. An employee, you. It doesn't even make any sense if it's a you or an I. Check the following that best applies to you. It says, an employee who is unable to work as a direct result of the disaster. If it read am employee, well, even then, I guess it's I am an employee. I am an individual. I am a self-employed Okay. I have got it. I'm an employee who's not able to work as a direct result of the disaster. I'm an individual who was scheduled to start work for an employer but could not because of the disaster. A self-employed individual who is unable to work as a direct result of the disaster. That's me. Finally. Question. It's not even a question in the original application. It's a supplemental attachment. If you selected item E1 or E3 above, how many hours did you work prior to the disaster? How many hours did I work? I mean, 80 hours a week. It was 24/7, really. Should just write that. If you selected E3 or E4 above, briefly describe how the disaster affected your ability to continue or begin your self-employment. Loss of guests, loss of inventory, no. Loss of revenue due to canceled reservations. Loss of revenue due to excessive cancellations from arriving tourists. What is the physical address of your business? This is where they start getting in your pocket, paying attention to what you're doing. This is exactly why they want to do this. Exactly why. And they're going to send some regulator over to make sure I'm following all the rules, blah, blah, blah. It's just a way to control us. It really is. Overtax us. I don't care if that's what I said that out loud. It's true. Last page, I hope. Do not mail or fax this page. Be sure to review your application thoroughly. Submit your clear application, including any applicable attachments by mail or fax. And once you submit your application, allow 10 days for processing of your claim. You'll receive unemployment insurance claim materials by mail. If you're not receiving any unemployment after 10 days from the date of your submitted application, call one of the following toll-free numbers. So I'm going to go put this in the mail now. Today's the 26th, I think, or the 27th. Not exactly sure. It's one of those days, though. And technically, now I have to wait 10 days. So, it says, allow 10 days for processing. Once you submit, 10 days for processing. Okay, so, 26th, 31st, 5. So, I won't even know if I qualify, if they're going to qualify me until April 6th. Something like that. April the 6th or April the 5th. Either way, my birthday's on April the 4th, and I don't get any good news until after my birthday. So I get to just become a year older, a little more desperate, back is against the wall a little bit more, but you know what? I always somehow come through. And that is an unemployment insurance application. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of questions to make sure that you're not earning money and just trying to get a bunch of free money from the government. It literally could have been 7 questions long, one form. What do you do? Are you employed by an employer? What's their employer insurance ID number? Are you self-employed? Who? What is your weekly wages? Boom. We'll be in touch. It could have just been that one page, but no. It's 11 or 12 pages of trying to make sure that I'm not got a bunch of different money coming in from all over the place and that I don't actually qualify for. This is not taking care of people in a time of crisis. This is basically just seeing if your existing archaic system can handle the flow of demand, and I promise you, it can't. It already can't. We saw that it can't on my previous live stream, where I attempted to go to the website, I attempted to go to your mobile-based site through my phone, both of which were down, both of which declared that they're doing site maintenance today of all days, right? I mean, like, for some people, like, they actually worked until today. Some people actually had scheduled work, and they were just in the process of closing down their offices or doing whatever, and couldn't do what they wanted to do until today. And then today it shut down. So I took the time, and like I said, I'll share the hyperlink for this file in the comments below the stream. And yeah, I'll tell you, this was I don't even know how long this was. I know it was longer because I was ranting, but I mean, it's at least going to take you an hour and 15 minutes to sit down and fill out your application. And especially if you're someone who had a bunch of employers over the last 18 months, a year and a half. They want to know everybody you worked for, how long you worked there. I even think they want to know what your weekly, wages was. All that's going to be used to determine how much you should get. But the reality of the situation is it's kind of like tier-based anyways. How old are you? Are you in a family, or are you a single person? And can you go and be a part of our job placement program? Because if you can, you get less. If you can't, if you're disabled for whatever reason, like you can't go work, then they tell you, okay, well, you're not really going to qualify for unemployment insurance, but you can definitely get disability services. And maybe we can cut you like a tiny check of like $75, or you're not going to get unemployment insurance, you'll get disability service, and we can hook you up with like a free bus pass, and we'll hook you up with like food stamps. Like as if that's a fucking favor. Like, oh, thanks. I'm just going to have to go live in LA on food stamps and a free bus pass. Thanks. And they're like, you're welcome. You're welcome. You should be grateful. Like, you get free transportation, and now with this whole new corona thing, you're going to get free internet. You get free, I mean, it sucks. I hope you're not trying to play a video game on their free internet, because it's not going to work. I hope you're not trying to, like, stream your new YouTube channel on their free internet, because it's not going to work. Trust me. It will be glitchy. Alright, so, yeah, go file for unemployment. Stop whatever you're doing. Don't assume that it's going to be some simple thing that you can just open up your phone, you can just jump on your computer, and you'll be done in 15 minutes. No, it's not going to be that. And like, hey, save yourself the stress of trying to go online and set it up. Just go, click the link to the document right below the video that I'm going to put up, try to get it uploaded in the next like 10 minutes, and save yourself the stress. Just download the document, print it, fill it out, put it in the mail, get it postmarked, and start the process, because they're not streamlining anything. No one is going to be issued benefits in a faster way, in a quicker way, in a more efficient way, because of what the government did to our economy by shutting it down. They were able to come out in 10 minutes, stop money from moving between employers, employees, and consumers. Okay, by the way, nobody shut down the markets. Has anybody even looked at footage from the New York Stock Exchange? I haven't yet. I probably should. But what's the floor of the New York Stock Exchange right now? Is it empty? Or are they sitting there elbow to elbow trying to like get as much money out of this moment as they possibly can? I should probably look into that. That's a great question, I think. Having said that, they stopped the exchange of goods and services at the consumer level, at the point of sale level, but they continued to trade money, goods, services at the macro level. Okay, so the government's still running, everybody's still getting paid, utilities are still getting paid. People are talking about like not suspending service. No one's going to take away your services right now, but you don't get it for free, and we're not going to, we may not charge you late fees, but we're not going to forgive all the money that you racked up, which, by the way, your utility bill went higher because we told you to go home and stream all those shows that you like to watch and use your internet. And come on, this is all so counterproductive. And then to say that they're going to cut us $2.2 trillion, that we're going to be able to qualify for unemployment, and then for me to go and find that the form isn't even changed. Like, this is just the same form that was there a week ago. It helps figure out who's self-employed and who was employed, and who should actually get employment insurance, and who we should talk to about getting them into a more job-placed kind of situation. Why don't you come and, work as a lunch lady, at our cafeteria at this government building, since you were a grip for, many major motion pictures last year, and you made a lot of money, but, it wasn't by, like, for whatever reason, you decided to be your own corporation, and so they were paying your corporation and not you individually, and so you just qualify under a bunch of different categories, which disqualify you for this particular fund, which is really, truly for people who, like, they had a regular job at a regular place, they had an employee ID number, they went to work 40 hours a week, they just lost their job, or they lost pay because it was a non-essential business, like a Gap. You work in retail, and all the retail industry just shut down, and you worked doing some kind of why can't I remember the name of that type of pay where it's like a percentage of the kind of sales that you make or sell, and your pay can vary based on how successful you can be at work, and not being at work is ruining your potential to earn money, especially in the retail world. And so going to the unemployment insurance and saying, so I work at Macy's, I made about this much. Okay, so what's your base pay? How much do they pay you a week? Okay, cool. So you're saying that sometimes you make that much if your commission comes to me now. If your commission was, well, let's not talk commission pay, let's talk your base pay. They don't want to pay you unemployment insurance on the money you potentially could have made, because that's not real money to them. I could just ramble on this for days. I'm done. I'm really annoyed that I got a couple more pieces of information I got to put it in here, then throw it in an envelope and wait for snail mail. Snail mail. It's 2020, and they want me to put this in a post office box so I can wait for some guy named Jimmy, or a lot of my postmen are super young now and kind of don't even care about, like, properly giving me the mail. They just shove it in my mailbox, papers all sticking out, envelopes all sticking out. It's bad. The state of affairs, it's not great right now. So stay tuned, by the way. I'm probably going to do some more, I'm going to upload some videos. I have been cleaning my neighborhood. I'd love for you guys to kind of take a look at that and share those videos with other people. Spread that message, not the virus. Hashtag, that's a great hashtag, by the way. It's already out there. Hashtag, spread the message, not the virus. And share with each other what's going on. I'm also low-key considering, it'd be great if I got some comments about this, doing interviews here in my home of people in my neighborhood, and let's start documenting how this is affecting ourselves, not just financially, but what are people doing? What are people finding solace with? How are you calming your minds? Are you not calm? Do you need to share your story with people? Maybe your story is relevant to other people who don't know that they're having a shared experience. So I'm thinking about that. Nice to get some comments to know if that sounds like a good idea or not. And stay tuned. I'm going to keep updating because I'm an entertainer, and entertainment has shut down. No one's making anything. So you better believe tons of people in my industry are at home trying to figure out how to keep their spirit alive, how to keep their technique honed, how to stay relevant, how to stay interested in this business, because that's another thing. People stop working and they find interest in other things, and they're just not as interested in exercising the amount of passion it takes to be in this business. So so many changes are coming. I encourage everyone to I hope you liked the video. If you did like it, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned to more footage, and stay tuned to more changes coming. You're going to see a lot of new norms happening, and that is going to be the new norm of an expression, is going to be new norm. We're going to hear new norm everywhere. So stay tuned. I love everybody that's out there struggling. We're all struggling together. Please remember that we're all struggling together. And hey, hashtag United We Stand. So that's it for now. Toodles.